Biggest Slow Podcast number 13, Vasectomies. Guess what this one's about? It's about this dick. Big surprise, right? Normally the music I use has something to do with the podcast material itself. In this case it doesn't, but fuck it. It's a sweet jam. You know? I mean butt fuck it. Like butt fucking. Like what gay people do. You know? Butt fucking. Oh yeah, I'm still here. I'm listening to this too. Isn't that a dope fucking song? What? Get your fucking hips moving, am I right? Alright. Yeah. Now that I got your blood pumping. There we go. That's nice. Alright. Here we go. So, before we get into that whole other thing, picked up on my circadian rhythm of podcasting, and not just podcasting, like content creation. I got all caught up making stupid videos. It's my favorite thing to do, to make stupid videos. They're all available on the internet, by the way, if you want to go look at it. But I spent the last month, ever since the last podcast I released, just making shit. Videos, funny stuff, using it to make like Biggest Little Podcast promos, and I hit this flow, and I kept going until what was it, yesterday or the day before? I made a video. It was a Star Wars video. I was goofing on Star Wars, and I uploaded it, and I didn't realize that Disney's a fucking asshole, and my video got blocked by Disney, and I mean, I know it's bound to happen. I'm using, like, content from companies, but most people, like, they just let you use it, and they just, like, monetize that video, but you still get to use it, so I figure, whatever. I'll make the video, I'll get to use it. I'm not trying to make money off of it. That's it. But Disney fucking blocked it because they're fucking assholes, and, it's a bummer. Like, I spent, an hour and a half making this video, and I'm all excited to put it up because it was fun. It was the lightsaber fight between Darth Maul and Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi. And when your video gets blocked, it's just a huge bummer, and you're just like, fuck. Like, what are you gonna do? Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to re-render it and figure out a way to get it on the internet without Disney realizing. That's what I'm going to do, because I'm fucking Robin Hood with this media. But anyways, that video getting blocked was like a reality check, and I was like, oh wait, I haven't released a podcast in like a month. Maybe I should stop making stupid videos and start making a podcast, because that's the whole reason why I'm making stupid videos. So here we are. But yeah, I picked up on my circadian rhythm of podcasting because initially I wanted it to be every week, and that has never happened. Maybe, when was my first podcast released? Or when did I make my first one? Let's see. The very, very first one was The Cube and Batman, April 16th, and now we're in August. It's August 2nd. April, May, June, July. It's been 4 months. 5 months, 4 months. And I've maybe 2 weeks at best I release one. But the rhythm is that I release one, I feel great, and I start working on other shit like videos or other things that I'm working on, music. And then I have this like creative burst, and then I feel like I'm going to do another podcast, and then it doesn't happen. And then something in life happens, stressful, or just I have to do something that's unrelated to podcasting. And then another week passes, and then on the third week, the beginning of the third week, I think, okay, here we go. I have something to talk about. I'm going to make a podcast. And then for whatever reason, it never happens until the end of that third week. And that's just, regardless of what I try to do, that's what always happens. So I just learned to accept it and just not rush it. You know, and I realized that's the whole great thing about podcasting is that I don't belong to anyone. This time that I'm spending doesn't belong to anyone but me. Literally, because I'm spending the money to have the websites and things so that I can do it. So, like, I can do whatever I want. Tell you what, I'm not going to do another podcast for 2 years. Fuck you. No, I'm kidding. So, here we go. Vasectomies. Right? Why else would I be talking about them? Yeah, I got one. And how many times have I talked about my dick on this podcast? Now there's a podcast that's completely and entirely about my dick. Isn't that great? I'm kidding, though. I mean, I'm not kidding. It is mostly about my dick, but it's not completely about my dick. There's actually some other stuff that I ended up realizing. Because initially it really was just about my dick and my vasectomy. And it really isn't my dick so much as it is my balls. Because, I mean, the dick is the shaft, right? And the balls are separate. So it really isn't about my dick. It's about my balls. And that doesn't really seem as interesting, does it? I killed it. All right, so it gets so awkward when you bring up vasectomies. If you saw, maybe you clicked on this podcast because you saw the word vasectomies 3 times, right? And you probably felt a little awkward, like, oh, what's this? Oh no, it's something sexual. It's about someone's balls or somebody. And I'm going into the couple of weeks before my operation, when I would tell some people about it, they would get really awkward. And it's just funny whenever you bring up sex, sexually related things, as long as you're not doing it like a creep, like you're just bringing it up, like most people get squeamish and they get weird about it. And I find that strange because everybody wants sex, right? Doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, you want sex. And maybe there's some people that don't want sex, but I think it's safe to say that statistically, that percentage is really, really, really small. Most people want it, yet some people can't openly talk about it. The only difference between me and a lot of people is that I'm open about this stuff. I'm liberated sexually from my own hang-ups, societal hang-ups, cultural hang-ups. Sex and sexually related things are just another thing to me, just like you want to eat breakfast, you want to take a poop. It's just a thing, albeit it's something I take great interest in, but still just a thing. It's a fact of life. And I don't know, let's see. Right now, someone's listening to this and feeling tense because this conversation is popping their comfort bubble. If you're not one of these people, just sit tight and relax while I alleviate the people who are tense about this. But yeah, some folks tighten up the moment you bring up sex, And that's hard for me to empathize with that because my dad was very straightforward on the subject, even before I was old enough to understand sex. He didn't baby me on most things. And if you are tense about this subject, take a breath, drink a glass of water, and remember that I'm talking about my sex life, not yours. Yours is your own, and unless you're the person I'm having sex with, then my decisions and actions regarding sex will never affect you. Unless you're overly sensitive and you let them. Or I managed to convince you that a vasectomy is a good idea, which I'll get to that later. But, this podcast is actually more about, excuse me. I have a whole bunch of notes that I just dropped, and I didn't even go over my notes that I wrote over a week ago, so this is going to get really probably confusing. But, I've always been just very open with sex, and I've realized now in retrospect that, especially at younger ages, if you're that person that's comfortable with it, you're going to get quagmired. And I mean that in both definitions. The definition of awkward and complex situation, and the definition of the Family Guy character, Quagmire. Because people who aren't open and comfortable with it are going to look at you like you're weird, and that you're like a freak or a pervert. And in my younger years, I used to feel really insecure about it, because the more my liberalness, is that a word, and my openness bounces off of other people's conservativeness and closed offness, it makes me feel like I'm the one that's weird. And no one's weird, just some people aren't open, some people are. But at younger ages, you don't understand that, and you start to feel weird about the way that you are and the way that you've always been. And I'm assuming that's what happens to gay people who are struggling with their sexuality, or they're not sure about it yet. And that's why gay people who are fully out of the closet, that's why they're so comfortable with it, because they had to deal with that shit, given our culture, just to be able to be the person that they are. But I'm yawning. Why am I yawning? I had 6 cups of coffee. But that's why most gay people are so open about it, because they already had to deal with all that shit. And that's what I'm getting at with this whole being open about it, is that heterosexual people, they are heterosexual and they know that, but yet they're still, in general, they're so closed off with their sexuality. And it's not like you have to be like that gay person who's hey, I just love dick. And sometimes you meet a lot of gay people who are open, really, really, really open about it. You don't have to be that way, but you need to not be so closed off. At least not to the point where you judge other people who aren't. And I lost my train of thought. Yeah, getting quagmired by people. So I got a vasectomy, and I've actually wanted to get one for a very, very long time. Maybe in my very, very early 20s, I started thinking about it. And if you don't know what it is, it's a form of permanent birth control for men. And literally they're going in and they're taking out a part of your testicles. There's these little tubes that connect to your testicles called the vas deferens. Vas deferens. That's a cool name. And they go in and they cut out one on each side for your left nut and your right nut. And then they cauterize the ends. And that's it. It's actually a really, really quick procedure. I'll talk about that later. And the reason why I wanted to get it was because there's tons and tons of birth controls, and they're mainly for women, aside from condoms. Who likes condoms? I know, right? That's the first thing that goes into everyone's head when you mention condoms. Boy or girl, who likes condoms? But all those other forms of birth controls, they feel like a gamble. And if you sat down and like you broke down the odds, like if it was like the back of a lotto ticket, if you ever looked on the back of a like a scratch off, it tells you the odds of winning for that particular game. And it's actually, this is totally off topic, but if you ever read those and you're not a scratch offer, it makes you think, why the fuck do people do this? Like, if you look at it, the odds are ridiculous, and they're right there on the back of every single lotto ticket. And it's usually in the ballpark of like 1 in 100,000 or 1 in 4 million or some shit. And like, when I look at that, I think, why am I spending $20 on 1 in a million chance? I'd rather spend that $20 on internet porn, even though I'd never spend money on internet porn, but I would rather spend money on internet porn than a fucking lotto ticket. Anyways, I digress. But different forms of birth control, they're like a gamble. You know, people say that the pill is 99% effective. Well, what about that 1 fucking percent? Right? You know what? That makes me uncomfortable, because in less than a year, I'm probably going to have sex 100 times. So does that mean that one time that birth control is not going to work? That does not make me feel comfortable with it. And does anyone want to have sex when they're not comfortable? Tell me the person that doesn't want to be comfortable, unless they enjoy being uncomfortable, but then that's a different thing, because that's a kink. And really, you aren't actually uncomfortable. You're just getting off on the idea that you're uncomfortable. I'm digressing again. But never mind the gambles of different birth controls, which, by the way, a vasectomy is the most foolproof form of birth control. It is possible for it to not work, but those odds are so small. And you don't have to, but you're supposed to go get tested afterwards to get your semen tested to make sure that they're shooting blanks. And aside from the gamble of it, I've known younger girls, older women, and I've had girlfriends that have gotten seriously fucked up because of birth control pills. Not everyone, but it happens a lot. Google that shit. Google, what was it? Yaz, Y-A-Z. That fucking birth control. Some women got seriously fucked up. I know someone, I worked with somebody who took Yaz, and she's not sure if she's ever going to be able to have kids again. I mean, she already has like 1 or 2 kids, so she's like doesn't really care that much about it. But now she's not sure if she ever can anymore, because that birth control pill fucked up her ovaries. And this is not a lot of people. And aside from like serious health concerns, there's just like day-to-day shit. Like it fucks with it can. It's not everyone, but it can. It fucks with your hormones. You can gain weight. It can kill your sex drive. That's pretty common. So then what's the fucking point if it's killing your sex drive? There is a point. I'm being dramatic. There are plenty of benefits, obviously, to birth control pills, and I'm guessing that statistically most women are on birth control pills. The girl that I'm involved with currently, she has to take them, because if she doesn't, she has twice a month, she has periods that are the equivalent to the elevator scene in The Shining. It's some crazy shit, and her birth control pills keep her from doing that, and they regulate it and make it once a month, which obviously huge benefit from that, which kind of sucks, because now that I'm vasectomized, she still has to take these pills, so it kind of feels like a moot operation. But the point is that a vasectomy grants me peace of mind, and it's me taking birth control into my own hands, which is not something that guys can really do, aside from a vasectomy, which I know seems kind of a drastic measure, but well, drastic times, my friend, drastic times. No, but women kind of have the monopoly on birth control, because you can't take a pill that makes you sterile day to day, and even if that pill existed, I don't know if you'd want to take it, and it just hasn't happened yet. And again, I'm not even talking about condoms, because that is such a shitty form of birth control. I mean, in a pinch, yeah, I mean, you'd rather have it than not have it, but tons of times I had a condom come off, or a lot of people said that they've had them break. I've never had one break, but I've had one come off. And it's funny because it stays on the whole time during sex, but then when it's time to pull out and take the condom off, that's when it happens. And like, it's post-orgasm, so you're not thinking about anything else, 'cause that's the whole point of fucking having an orgasm. So while you're pulling out, that condom just goes flip, comes right off and stays in there. And then like, that moment sucks, because it takes a split second for you to pull out and realize that the condom didn't come out with you, and that moment just costs you $60, because now you just have to go buy a fucking Plan B morning after pill. And I've had that happen to me 2 or 3 times. And so yeah, condoms fucking suck. And that's the point of the vasectomy, is that, you know, it's liberating your penis, and it's liberating me from having to worry about having a kid. And that's so nice. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's really fucking nice. And you know, prior to having, like, maybe a week or 2 before my operation, I told a lot of people about, you know, I had this vasectomy and it was happening, and 99% of everyone had very, very intense reactions to that. On the female side, their immediate reaction was one of 2 things. They go, "Oh, but you don't want to have kids?" Or the other one was, they didn't say much, because they got very interested in me post-vasectomy, which, you know, that's neat. And on the male side of it, it's funny, because, you know, men in general they're not very open emotionally, and tons and tons of guys that I know that aren't very empathetic, or at least aren't easily empathetic, when you tell them that you're getting a vasectomy, they empathize so easily when considering their genitals getting the vasectomy, because whenever I'd bring it up to them, I saw it on their face. They would immediately, they wouldn't even consider that it was me getting the vasectomy. The second you mention it, they think that it's them getting it. And turns out that's a fact about dudes. When you start talking about, you know, your junk and any sort of knife or needle going towards it, every single guy immediately just thinks about their own penis. And that's, you know what? That's a form of empathy. How cool is that? And they respond in a really hostile way, and they don't realize it, but they're projecting their own fear of having surgery on their nads on me without even realizing it. Yeah, so these are just some fun things that I noticed pre-vasectomy about people and how they respond to that kind of stuff. And I brought it up to my urologist that is a dick doctor. Not just a dick doctor, a genital doctor. I mentioned that to my urologist actually while he was performing the surgery on me, that a lot of people got hostile about it, and he just quietly said, "It's a personal choice." And when he said that, I wasn't sure if he meant that's a personal choice, so maybe you shouldn't bring it up to other people, or it's a personal choice, so why are you freaking out about it? Because it's my choice. And if I had to take a guess at it, I think he meant it's a personal choice, as in don't bring it up to other people. And if that is the case, you know, fuck that. Fuck that. That's my whole other point, is that this stuff should be okay to talk about. People shouldn't get hung up on it. It's just a thing. Every fucking dude has a penis. Like, what's the big deal? I know why it's a big deal, because our culture wants you to keep, your sex talk to yourself or keep it in the bedroom. But you know what? That's boring. We're not going to do that. So, we're all predisposed to reproduce. All life by default does that. Wants to do that. And even people that I know are terrified of knocking someone up look at me like I'm crazy because I got a vasectomy. And specifically, I have two examples of two dudes who I spoke to a couple of days after my vasectomy. I walk up to one of them and I'm like, "Oh, hey dude, guess what? Guess why I'm limping? Yeah, I got a vasectomy." And he goes, "Oh, wow, yeah, I was thinking about doing that too." And I go, "Oh, well, why didn't you?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know. I was thinking about doing it because I got like 3 girlfriends." And right when he said 3 girlfriends, I was like, "Holy shit, dude. You're rolling 3 different dice." And I go to him and I go, you're not using a condom, are you?" And he goes, "Nah." And he goes, "So you're just pulling out and praying?" He goes, "Yeah." And I could tell on his face that he was worried about getting them pregnant, but he's like not taking the precautions to not get them pregnant. And like, come on, if you think that pulling out and praying is good, it's not. You're gonna fuck up. You will. And then the second dude is even worse. I tell him I got a vasectomy, and his first response was, "Ooh, I don't know if I could do that to my nads." And he goes on to say, he fucking says that he's planning on moving out of state next month, and I could tell where he was going with it, and I thought he was going to say, "So I'm trying not to have sex with anyone because I don't want to risk getting trapped here since I'm planning on leaving." He says the opposite of that. He goes, "Yeah, I'm moving in a month, so I'm trying to fuck as many chicks as I can. I'm on 7 chicks right now." And I know what you're thinking. He's probably like exaggerating. He's not. I can tell when someone's bullshitting. He wasn't bullshitting. And he goes, I go to him, "Well, fuck, dude, are you using condoms?" And he goes, I was, but then I ran out." And I go, "Ran out? Like, what? How did you run out of condoms?" And this is when I realized how seriously he takes contraception. He goes, "Well, I buy them at a gas station, and they only come in 3-packs. And you can buy condoms. You go to any grocery store, they have condoms in larger packs than 3. But that's how serious he takes his contraception, that he's only going to bother stopping at a gas station on the way to one of his 7 honeys' houses. And only buy a 3-pack. He's probably the guy that buys that horny goat weed, too, at the gas station. You ever see that? I wonder if that works. I don't think that works. I bought, was a long time ago, I bought some like male stimulation pills. Male stimulation, that sounds gay. But I bought these pills that were supposed to like give you more energy and whatnot. They weren't like Viagra. It wasn't like because there's 2 different kinds of those sex pills. They're either the ones that are designed to give you a hard-on, or the ones that are just designed to like give you energy and vigor. Well, that was the kind that I bought, and I took it, and I didn't tell my girlfriend, because in my head I'm just thinking, oh yeah, they're gonna give me like all this energy, and I'm gonna gorilla fuck her, and I'm just not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna do it. And I took the pills, like I took 2 of them, like 15 minutes before having sex. And then, not even 3 minutes into having sex, my heart just starts fucking racing. And then it just felt like heart palpitations. Like my heart was beating so fast that it just couldn't keep up. So it's just like, and I couldn't breathe anymore because I couldn't fucking catch my breath. And I thought I was going to fucking die. And even though I felt like I was gonna die, I didn't want to fuck up the sex, so I just like tried to soldier on, and I just like tried to keep doing it, and it didn't. I fucked up the sex. It didn't turn out well, and then I had to explain to her that these pills fucked me up. Of course, she probably just thought I was making an excuse. Yeah, it was embarrassing. Anyways, where was I? Yeah, so you get these fucking guys. This is what I find insane, is that most guys, I'm not going to speak for women because I'm not one, but just speaking for guys are terrified of getting chicks knocked up. It's scary. And most guys, yeah, they do want to have kids, but the whole thing is that you don't want to have kids yet. So, but you want to fuck. Like, you want to fuck. You have this compulsion in your mind to stick it in. And that compulsion causes you to do stupid shit, like buy 3 packs of condoms and then not bother buying more when you run out because it's just too inconvenient and you need to go fuck. And even though, I wholly disagree with this guy's take on it, I understand it because I've been there before. And that's the whole reason why I wanted a vasectomy, because I didn't want to have to, I want to be able to have that compulsion and just be able to act on it. Just go for it and not have to worry about it. And I know you're thinking, oh, but that's a serious, it's a dramatic thing and you're never going to have kids, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Who wants fucking kids? Kids suck. You ever see that tired mom at the grocery store? She's got like one shopping cart full of groceries and she's pushing it forward with her left arm, and then she's dragging another cart full of some fucking dirty snot-nosed kids with the other one, and she's tired. She's tired and she's just debating either leaving the shopping cart full of groceries behind or leaving the shopping cart full of kids behind. And every moment she's just thinking, which one do I keep? Kids suck. It's a fucking huge commitment. And I'm just kidding. I mean, kids do suck, but I'm just goofing on them. But we have this this blanket human ego towards reproducing. And it's like people, when you say you got a vasectomy, this is another thing that they immediately empathize without realizing with themselves, is that they immediately think that they're never going to be able to have kids again when you tell them that and it's not even if you are going to be able to have kids again. That's the fucking annoying thing, is that everyone assumes that you're never going to be able to, and you can. It's just more complicated to have kids. And that's the point. I want it to be more complicated. It's way too fucking simple to have kids pre-vasectomy. All you have to do is stick your penis into a vagina and orgasm, and you can have a kid. That's really, really easy. And the whole point for me is that I do want to have kids. I am going to have kids. But I want the process to be complicated because I want to be able to control when it happens. Everything, all of it, down to when and how. And, that is a personal choice. If that's not how you are, that's fine. If you want to, roll the dice, and if it happens, it happens, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's why it's just, I find it so insane that people have such an intense reaction when you say that you got a vasectomy, and no one considers that they can be reversed. And even if they can't be reversed, there's in vitro fertilization. And even if that doesn't work, or you can't afford that, adopt a kid. But that's what I was talking about with the human ego, is that the human reproduction ego is that we want to have a kid with our genetics, with our features. And I'm sure part of that is just the natural predisposition that you have to, to reproduce. But I think a lot of it is because people have this ego where they want to know that it's their flesh and blood. And, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Do I want my kid to have my genes and my genetics? Sure. But if for whatever reason I could never make that happen, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I think the whole point is to just have a new life and cultivate it and make sure that it turns into, it grows into a decent person. When it comes to children, that's all that I care or want from it. And whether that's my kid from my loins or it's someone else's kid that I raised as my own, that thought doesn't matter. I really don't care. It doesn't matter to me. And on a deeper level, because, when you bring up vasectomy, most people just think, oh, you just want to fuck and sling dick everywhere and just not have to worry about it. That's not always true, and that's not, the only reason why somebody would want it. I have actually thought about this before I got the operation done. I didn't just do it on a whim. Literally, I've thought about this for years prior to doing it. And I realized that, I've mentioned on this podcast before about how I've waited to get involved with anyone because I just don't want to be that person that just jumps into relationships. And I realized that getting a vasectomy will, in theory, it will ensure that whoever I end up becoming serious with will have to be in agreement with how I want to direct my life. And when I say have to, I don't mean I'm forcing them to. I mean they happen to just have they want the same thing. So I'm vasectomized, right? So you're Susie Q and you want to be with me or be my wife or be my baby mama, whatever. If you want that, then we both want the same thing, which is the only way that I'm going to be able to get you pregnant is if I spend a lot of money to get my vasectomy reversed, or we have to spend a lot of money to do in vitro, or we have to spend a lot of money to adopt a kid. And they have to be able to accept that maybe we won't be able to do that and maybe we'll have to adopt a kid. So that person is going to have to be okay with that. And the idea for me is that I'm just going, the second I meet someone that, for the rest of my life, the second I meet someone that I'm interested in and she's interested in me and I think, oh, this might go somewhere, let's try it. All I have to do is right off the bat, let them know, oh, hey, I'm vasectomized. And if you want to get serious, so you know, there's a good chance that I'm never going to be able to get you pregnant. And if she's not okay with that, well, that kind of weeds her out, doesn't it? And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with passing up on a good opportunity just because she has different goals in her life. I'm fine with that. And that's why I really like this, because besides the fact that it prevents accidental pregnancy, which can completely steer the direction of your life in a different direction, it's also going to affect my love life and who I get involved with. And I like that because I don't want to be with people that I don't want to be with. Where was I going with that? I don't know. I ruined the ending to that, though. Now, post-vasectomy, I get to just focus on the relationship. I get to have my love life with just my lover. No kids. Not even the worry of a kid. I get to enjoy it to the fullest with peace of mind, and she has peace of mind too. And when the time comes to do it, I'm going to do it right. When I do have kids, I want to be prepared. I have no choice but to be prepared. Now that I'm vasectomized, I can't just be like, hey, you know what? Fuck it, let's have a kid. No, because this shit's going to cost money. I have to spend money now to have a kid. And I want to wait until I don't have to work so much so that I can spend as much time with that kid as that kid deserves. And the whole point is that I have no choice but to have a family on my terms. And I think that's great. if you have a kid, if you had a kid and you didn't plan to and you went with it, I'm not ragging on you. I respect that. That's what my parents did. Both me and my brother were accidents. And, you know, my parents could have aborted me and my brother, and their lives would have been completely different. But they didn't. They did it. They did the grind. And I'm grateful for that, because that's why I exist now. But I don't want to do that. And, you know, people always say, so you don't want kids. And they never think that somebody's getting a vasectomy because they want to have kids, but in a different way. Most people are stuck in this archaic mentality that you have your life and then you have children. Like, they don't see any other way to go about it. It's just simply, you have your life, you do your things, and then whether you meant to or not, you have children, and then your life is about your children. And I disagree with that so much. And this is that, and the whole sexual being so closed off with sexuality, whether you're hating on gay people or whether you just get uncomfortable when anyone talks about sexuality, this is at the center of what I really want to talk about. Never mind the vasectomy. Because people still think there's a difference between pro-life and pro-choice. There is no pro-life. There truly is it's just pro-choice. That's why it's such an ignorant argument. It's an ignorant argument that both pro-lifers and people who like identify as pro-choicers and argue with pro-lifers, that's what they're guilty of, is that it's just pro-choice. If you would never have an abortion, then your choice is only life. But that's still choice. Like, when people say pro-life, they don't mean I would never have an abortion, so I'm pro-life. What they mean is I don't want anyone to ever have an abortion. And that's a whole nother thing. So if you are a pro-choicer and you even entertain the argument of pro-life with a pro-lifer, you're fucking up. You're validating their argument, their pro-life stance, by even arguing with them. And I get it. People like, oh, I don't want people to tread on my rights. Fucking, abortion's never gonna be illegal. Come on, you fucking dummy. Do you really think that's ever gonna actually happen? It's just a fucking conjured argument. Some religious zealots go on fucking Fox News and talk about how they're signing a petition for, to make abortion illegal, and then all of the people who just want to be mad about something, who are pro-abortion, I can't stand that. I can't stand that someone wants to tread on me. No one's gonna actually tread on you. Don't be so fucking volatile. Anyways, our Western world, the majority of it anyways, is still in the closet with their sexuality. You don't believe me? Here's some proof. Because X amount of people think that I just meant homosexuality when I said in the closet with their sexuality. Because as far as they're concerned, there's only one kind of closet, and that's the gay closet. Emotional closets. There are countless emotional closets. There isn't just one closet filled with a bunch of gay people. Get a clue. I don't feel the need to exclaim to the world that I'm sterile. That's not what this is about. I feel the need to talk openly about it, to set an example, to show that it's all right to talk about this stuff. Maybe not at the dinner table, but to talk about it. And yeah, that's really what this is about. I'm just using the vasectomy as the segue into talking about people being closed off. And I think I did that because I'm 40-something minutes in, and now I'm out of notes. So now here's the part. This is what I roped you in with the vasectomies. Let's talk about the vasectomy. It's actually a pretty boring story. So no, a vasectomy, it's a really short procedure. And I know I said something earlier about knives and needles. There actually are no knives involved. And it's painless. The procedure itself anyways is painless. And it's 15 minutes long. That's it. 15 minutes. In and out. So the place where I got my vasectomy is literally there's a building behind my house. I'm literally looking at it right now from my desk, looking out my window. I'm looking at the building that I got. I share a backyard with it. And so you do a pre-consultation before, like a month prior. And that's when they go over it. They talk about it. They make sure that you realize that it's permanent, blah, blah, blah. And in that consultation, you sit down with the urologist that's going to do the procedure, and he talks to you and asks some questions. And I'm there, and he goes, so do you have a ride? Do you have someone that can drive you home? And I go to him, and I'm like, well, actually, I was going to walk home. I'm capable of walking after the procedure, right? And he goes, yeah, but we just don't recommend it. And I go, okay, well, I literally live right behind here, so I'm just going to walk home. And he didn't say anything to that. He just said, well, he says, okay, well, normally we have someone, drive you home. Normally your partner or your wife. And I go, okay, well, I'm going to walk home. And he didn't say anything to that. So I didn't think anything of it. A month later, it's the day of the procedure, and I didn't sleep very well because my procedure was at like 9:30, and whenever I have to wake up that early for something, I don't sleep well because I know I have to get up. I'm one of those people. So I ended up waking up early. I didn't really sleep very well because I stayed up the night before making a video. I drink a shit ton of coffee, and I don't eat any breakfast because I figure I'm going to be there for half an hour tops. Like 15 minutes to take the Valium that they give you. They give you a Valium so that you relax. 15 minutes to take the Valium, sign in, and then to get to the operating bed, and then 15 minutes for the procedure, and then I'm fucking out of there. And then I'll have breakfast afterwards, right? So I show up, and right away, I go to sign in, and the lady that's there, the receptionist, she immediately tells me, she's all disheveled, and she goes, look, I'm sorry, just give me a minute because I'm not the normal receptionist. I actually work in the billing department. The lady who's the receptionist called off, so I'm just trying to cover for her here. And I'm like, that's cool. Take your time. It's the only time I'm ever going to be here, so I can wait. And she's getting shit together, and then I see this little pill cup next to her that has my name on it. And I point at it and I go, is that mine? And it was the Valium. And I'm thinking, if I'm going to wait for you to do stuff, can I take the drugs right now so that I can start having a good time? I didn't say that part, but that was the mentality. And she goes, oh, yeah, here. And she hands me the pill cup. And this is how I knew that she is not the receptionist, because she just hands me the pill cup and I'm just staring at the pill. And she, 5 awkward seconds pass, and she goes, oh, right, sorry, let me get you some water. And she gives me some water. I take the Valium, and I think, great, sit down. And I go, here we go. And I've never had a Valium before, so I was kind of excited to try some new drugs. And the Valium's all right. I think it was the equivalent to a Xanax. I've taken Xanax once, and, you just, get super chill. But Xanax, they make you sleepy. Xanax, I took a Xanax and tried to watch a movie, and I just fell asleep. It was kind of lame. The Valium, though, is the equivalent to taking 3 shots, but not of liquor, but not feeling fucked up from liquor. You just get this awesome relaxed buzz, and you're just hey, yeah, well, everything's cool. So Valium starts kicking in, and the nurse calls my name and takes me into the back. And they give you one more consultation before the procedure, just to make sure that if you have cold feet, this is your last chance to leave. And but then they also go back. They take your blood pressure, make sure you're not dying, and which, by the way, I have like kind of like maybe 40 points higher than it should, blood pressure wise. And I asked her, like, could that be from excessive caffeine usage? And she goes, oh yeah, absolutely. And I realized, like, I know now how much faster my heart's racing because of all the coffee that I drink. Anyways, she's asking like basically all the pre-consultation questions again, and she gets to that same question of, is your ride here? And I go, well, no, I was going to walk home. And she stops and she goes, what? And I go, yeah, I literally live behind you guys. I was just going to walk home. It's really not that far, so I was going to walk home and then get off my feet, because you're supposed to stay off your feet, after the surgery. And she just says, okay, I'll be right back. And judging by her tone, I realized that something wasn't right. But with the Valium, you got to understand, with the Valium, you were so super chill about everything. So like whenever she's asking me questions, she's like, do you blah, 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 blah? And I go, no, yeah, you're just so chill. So, but my mind is still functioning. So in my head, I'm thinking, that didn't sound right. But it's translating as, that didn't sound right. She walks back in and she goes, okay, is there anyone that can come pick you up? And I think about it and I realize that everyone I know is at work and there's just no way. And I go, no, there's no one that can get me. But I mean, is that an issue? Because I was just going to walk home. And she gets like really like tense, and immediately I know she doesn't want to say it, and I just said it for her, and I go, oh my God, I'm trapped here, aren't I? And she goes, yeah, we can't do the procedure if you're not gonna be able to have someone take you home, and we can't let you leave without doing the procedure because you took a Valium, and we can't let you leave because you could get hit by a car or something or fall over. And like, I know it sounds like an exaggeration. Again, like Valium, you take one Valium, you're fine, but it's a liability issue. And I even asked him, like, well, can someone just like put me in a wheelchair and wheel me home? Like, it's like a 5-minute walk. And she's like, no, we can't do it. And the doctor has to leave soon because at this point they were cutting into my surgery time. And she's like, so at this point, we're not able to do the procedure and we can't let you leave. We have to keep you here until the Valium wears off. And I'm like, how long is that? She goes, 6 hours. Right away. It's funny because at that moment, I got so infuriated because this place isn't very interesting. It's a bland medical office, and now I'm stuck there for 6 hours without the vasectomy. And like, what the fuck am I going to do for 6 hours, right? But on the Valium, all I'm thinking is, all right, well, this sucks. And the first thing I say to her is, well, can I take a nap? And she goes, oh, yeah, sure, because, I didn't really sleep. And this actually turned out to be pretty sweet because I slept in the doctor's office, took a nap. I grabbed his lab coat. He had like a couple of lab coats hanging on the door, and I didn't have any blankets, obviously, so I like slept. I pushed the couches together. I took a 4 or 5 hour nap, covered in lab coats, and then when I woke up, I'm just like, I'm chilling there. The nurse pops her head in. She goes, oh, good, you're awake. Do you want to eat? And I go, fuck yeah, I want to eat. And then she takes me over to their little break room, and they have catered food. No, they didn't cater it for me. They just happened to have catered food that day, but I got to fucking eat. I had like spare ribs. I had grilled chicken. They had these awesome desserts, and I had these salads. And I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. It was kind of like a dick resort. That's how I felt about it. So, Eventually, I did manage to get a friend to come get me, and the doctor came back later on that day, and I was it was like 3:30. I went in at 9:30, and that's when I was supposed to have the procedure. Ended up staying there till 3:30. Had the procedure at 3:30, and I was out by 4. And if you're wondering what the procedure itself it's like, I'm telling you, it's pretty straightforward. You don't even have to get naked. Like, you just drop trow, keep them around your ankles. They wrap you in the like paper moo thing, and you lay down. Doctor comes in. There's a nurse that's assisting. The only pain you feel is when he injects the anesthetic to numb your nuts. Numb nuts. And it is a needle, and it is poking into your balls 4 times. And it doesn't, right when I said that, my balls quivered. I had like a phantom pain. And, it's a pinprick. It's a pinprick. Like, if you've ever had your finger, when they take like a blood sample, when you're donating blood, that little like plastic box that they, jab onto your finger, that's basically what it feels like, except it's on your nuts, which is a little unsettling. But when you're on the Valium, you don't really care. That's what's sweet about it. Since I had to stay there until the Valium wore off, when it was time to actually do the procedure, I got another fucking dose of Valium. How awesome is that? I got 2 doses of Valium. I got to eat. I got to take a nap. Hey, who am I to complain about that? So you get like pinpricked about maybe 4 times, and after that you don't feel a damn thing. And I'm like literally just laying there. Some urologist has some instruments inside my nutsack, and I can't see it. I'm just chilling, and this is basically how the whole procedure went. He's sitting there working on it, and I'm just chatting with him. We're just talking, and once the nurse, I realized very quickly that most people who get a vasectomy are like kind of quiet while it's happening, because they probably feel weird that their genitals are exposed and like someone's digging around in there, and so they're just thinking, let's just get this over with, so I'll never have to do this again. I'm just gonna be quiet. I want to get out of here, and but me, I was cool with it. I didn't care. And also I was on the Valium, so I'm like super chill. It's like the equivalent to having like a couple beers, and so you're like, hey, what's going on? We're doing this vasectomy thing. What are you doing down there? I don't care. Just get it done. Let's hang out. So I'm sitting there talking. I start talking with the nurse, and it turns out that she's a chatterbox. And the second I start talking, she just goes, me. She starts telling me about everything. She's telling me about her boyfriend, the concerts they go to. We start talking about music. And yes, the fucking urologist, he quietly states to me while he's working on my nads, he goes, she has a very high opinion of herself. And she doesn't even hear what he says over her own voice, because that's the kind of person that she is. And then I look over at her and I realize that she can't stop talking. And I start riffing on her. I just start making fun of her, and she doesn't even realize that I'm making fun of her. And the urologist is like laughing. He's laughing and laughing and laughing at like all of these jokes that I'm cracking about her. And this is like my shining moment comedically, because halfway through the procedure, the urologist was like, very professional, very focused, very on point. And then I said something, I forget what, but I said something about the nurse as I'm making fun of her. And I cracked him up so much that he actually stopped what he was doing, put his head down laughing. And I heard him say, "This guy's hilarious." And like, that made me so happy. Like, out of all the stages that I've ever been on, not literal, just stages where I'm trying to be funny or just be entertaining, that's why you're listening to this, right? Out of all the stages, I will never be on that particular stage again. And I can tell you, I killed it on that urologist bed. I killed it. Anyways, it was a good procedure. We talked about movies. We talked about Nightcrawler, because I think I had just done the last podcast where I talked about Nightcrawler. It was only a couple of days later, so I talked to him about it, and like that was my vasectomy, and the last thing that the doctor does, the urologist does, is he sprays your junk down with more of that numbing agent. So when I got up out of the bed and put my pants back on, he's like, "There's what I cut out, by the way," and on a little towel you can see the 2 pieces of your vas deferens that got cut out, which if I can get the photo off my phone, I have a shitty phone, if I can get the photo off, I'll post it up on the podcast site. You can see it's just these tiny little pieces of tube, and that's what connects your sperm with everything else. That's all they do. They cut it out, and then they cauterize it with this tiny laser, and that's it. So I walk out of there, I feel great, and I'm like, damn, I'm walking just fine. I feel awesome. This is it. Vasectomy's done and over with. I go to the grocery store to get some groceries, and this is about 15 minutes later, the anesthetic wore off, and then the actual pain set in, and it wasn't awful, but it was, like every guy who's ever gotten hit in the nads knows, when you get hit in the nads, you get this kind of sick feeling in your gut, and if it's really bad, you get this sort of dizziness and this nausea, and it's all combined at once. That's what happened, and it's so disorienting. The first day really was the worst, by leaps and bounds. I was literally, for about 2 hours after the procedure, once I got home, just curled up in the fetal position, just breathing, trying to just breathe and not think about, the nauseating pain that I was in. But even by the end of the first night, it was still bad. There was still pain and swelling, but it wasn't awful. And then the next day, it wasn't as bad. And what sucked about it was that I only had 1 day off after the procedure, and then I had to go back to work. And I work on my feet all day, which is exactly what you're not supposed to do, but I didn't really have a choice. So I get back to work, and of course, I'm on my feet. So after X amount of hours of being on your feet, the swelling starts to get inflamed, and you get that nauseating, pain, sicky feeling again, and it kind of really fucking sucked. But as each day passed, it got less and less. But that wasn't really such a big deal. The only thing that actually was a big deal post vasectomy was, aside from having to wait to have sex again, you have to wait a week, which fucking sucks. But which I didn't even wait a week. I caved after 5 days. But I looked up, when I was researching just vasectomy stuff, I saw that it said that some men experience a boost in testosterone. And I didn't think anything of it when I read that. But about maybe 4 or 5 days in, I was at work, and some shit happened at work that aggravated me, but I got super duper ragey, and everybody gets mad, things happen, you get stressed, whatever, you get angry, but more than just how angry I got, I couldn't let it go. And I pride myself on not so much not getting angry about things and remaining calm, which I do very well, but I pride myself on being able to process my feelings and emotions and let go of things that I need to let go. I am very good at that. I was very good at that. So I get super ragey and I can't let it go, and I just start I was freaking out, and it just got worse and worse. Even though there was nothing else actually happening to make me more angry, it was just getting worse on its own. And when I got home that night from work, I was still just fucking livid. And I thought, just get some sleep, right? Maybe you're just stressed. You just had a surgery. You're still kind of in pain with it. Maybe you're just stressed. Sleep it off. And so I slept, and I woke up next morning, and maybe for about 5 seconds I was fine. And then all I had to do was just think about for a second that one thing that aggravated me yesterday, and it all came back. Like I'm literally still in bed, and it all came back. And that's when I realized that something was wrong. Because I've never been that person. Never in my life. Never mind how angry I can get about something. If I slept on it, I was fine. But I wasn't. I woke up and I wasn't fine again. And that was when it hit me. Oh my God, that's the testosterone boost. And I've never experienced anything like that before in my life, and I started to piece it together. And at this point, I had already been having sex again, so I just assumed that I wouldn't have any, I wouldn't have any sexual frustration because I was having sex already. But that's when I realized that, like when a guy gets blue balls, right, and they start just getting like all fucking, I can't fucking concentrate because I haven't had sex in however amount of time. Even though I was having sex, that you got to understand that when you get a vasectomy, you still produce sperm. You're always going to be producing sperm. All the vasectomy does is prevent that sperm from exiting. So even though you are sterile, that doesn't mean that you're not producing the things that would get someone pregnant, right? Well, when you blue balls, you're developing two things, sperm and seminal fluid. It's not all sperm that comes out. Like after you get vasectomized, everything looks the same. When you orgasm, there's still ejaculate. And the thing that is trippy is that even though I was having sex, the only thing that's leaving my body is the seminal fluid. The semen stays there. So I was in a constant state of like half blue balls, even though I was having sex. And that buildup of sperm, it has testosterone in it. And when you build up sperm but it doesn't go anywhere, your body absorbs it eventually. So my body is absorbing more testosterone than it had ever absorbed before, because prior to having a vasectomy, I had orgasms or I had sex on the regular. So I never had this much of a buildup of sperm in my life. And that's probably why I was able to pride myself on being so calm and able to process my emotions, because I was never that guy who was just sexually frustrated. Even if I wasn't having sex, I'll fucking rub one out. I need to stay regular. I need to stay cool and calm. That was me. And even now, I couldn't do anything about it. I still can't do anything about it. I still feel that testosterone. I feel this. Now, this is what, it's August 2nd. I had my procedure on July 13th. It's been, we'll call it 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks since my procedure. And I still feel this testosterone, and it's fucking madness. Like, I'm fine, I'm me, but the second something annoys me, I get 3 times more angry than I normally would have. And that's where I start. I start at 3 times. I start at 3 times more angry. And then, let's just say nothing else makes me angry. I will stay there. And it'll take at least an hour for that to start going away. And I don't mean it goes away, I mean for it to start going away. And that's like a gradual decline. So if anything else agitates me, it just keeps fucking stacking on. And I get it now. I get the male stereotype of the testosterone fueled fucking caveman raging dude. I get it now. I mean, I'm not like that all the time, but when I am like it, it feels like insanity. And, you know, that scares me a little bit because I've always been in control of my emotions, and if for whatever reason I wasn't, I was always aware that I wasn't in control of it. So, you know, at the very least, I'll just shut down and just be like, let's shut everything down, let's calm down and relax, and then pick it back up when I'm not so angry. That was before. Now, when it hits me, it catches me off guard, and you gotta, let's say you're, for the women listening to this, you obviously don't know what male testosterone feels like because you're not a man. Let me try to explain to you what it feels like. It hits you, and your mind gets supercharged, and you start, it's like, imagine drinking a cup of coffee when you get that buzz and everything speeds up. It's like that, but everything is so violent. The thoughts are violent, and then if you have the least bit of paranoia or insecurity, even the tiniest bit, it gets exacerbated. All of the negative things get exacerbated. And maybe this is just me, but everything just gets fucking lit on fire, and it just starts burning. And if there's anything else that gets thrown on top of that emotionally, it's just tinder, and it just keeps burning and burning more. And it makes me feel insane sometimes. And for about a day, I got a little worried about that because, you know, this is permanent. I was more worried about the change in my hormones and emotions than I was about, you know, my sterility. I was thinking, man, am I going to be this guy from now on? This guy, I got a vasectomy, and it gave me a temper, and I wasn't expecting that. So I was worried about it at first, but now I actually kind of appreciate it now, because prior to the vasectomy, I really did have my emotions on lockdown so well that I wasn't appreciating how well I had it on lockdown. So now that I don't have it on lockdown as well as I did, it's like being humbled. I kind of, now that I am aware of it and I'm working through it, I kind of appreciate this emotional setback, because it makes me, it's causing me to evaluate things more, think about things more. And, yeah, you know, it's not an awful thing. I could think of worse ways to feel about this. And yeah, that's all I got. That's my vasectomy shit. So, you know, if you're a dude and you're worried about getting people pregnant, really that worried about it, and you know, birth control pills or condoms aren't cutting it for you. I know I knocked on birth control pills and other forms of contraception. You know, I am an exception when it comes to that, because I was never fully comfortable with those things. And there are plenty of people who are completely fine with birth control pills, and they never have an issue, they never have an accident, and it works out for them. Great. For me, I needed to feel more comfortable with it, because I was experiencing so much discomfort and so much anxiety about having an accidental pregnancy that it would affect my sex life, and I didn't want to do that anymore. But again, I'm aware that that's me. Not everyone's like that, but I implore you, if it is something that you think you might be interested in, look into it. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't let anyone make you feel like you're crazy or stupid or you're making a bad decision. just because you're even considering it. Don't let other people control your life or influence your life. If you think you might like it, if you think it's for you, then look into it. Go to a urologist and get a consultation. Ask them about it. Get some information on it. Get a pamphlet. It's not a big deal. Don't freak out about the idea of it. Don't have this knee-jerk reaction. Because believe me, there's a lot of knee-jerking going on. Okay, so we're wrapping this up. Have your sex life. Enjoy your sexuality because you're only going to have it once. And, live life. Love yourself. Love one another. Deuces.
Well, we know